Hey guys, GalahadB here, and this time I am going to present to you my round 3 tournament game. Round 3, game 1 against my fellow countryman Michel. Um, I think last time I mentioned something about the tiebreakers, which I have now discovered is not correct. I think I said that I want the guys that I've defeated to do well, and in actuality, I want all my opponents to do well because it's not about whom I have defeated, it's just about whom I've played against. So I want all my opponents to, at the end of the Swiss portion of the tournament, to have as many wins as they can. Alright, with that out of the way, let's look at this wonderful turn 1. Me playing three people's first again. And yeah, I mean, if you remember game 1 against GalahadB, I started out not rolling basically any movement in the entirety of the game. And here I'm starting out with a whooping 0 movement against only one eye. Like, I can live with me not rolling movement against many eyes, but the combination of no movement against minimum eyes is really bad. And to top it all off, he only rolled a single muster. And that means that if I give him a ring, he can bring in Saruman turn 1. And he might do that with a Palantir die. So, like, my hope now is that he won't have anything to play with a Palantir die. Okay, looking at his hand, he does have something to play. It's not that bad giving him ring, but... Ugh. And the next problem is I don't even have an army muster die here. So he could just bring Sauron to war, and with his many character dice, just storm into Woodland Realm, or maybe take out Carrick and Dale to set up a very early Witch King and Saruman. So yeah, all across the board, this spells a lot of trouble, and it's definitely not something that I'm at all happy about. The one good thing is the two cards that I've drawn are both playable, which is nice. I really lean more towards playing the strategy card, so I can cycle through my strategy deck, especially rolling this little movement dice, because I need more time, and strategy cards allow me to have more time, hopefully. But at the same time, I also want to keep scouts, so I can scout into Woodland Realm if he doesn't just attack that now, because if he does, then yeah, there's nothing I can do because I don't have an army muster, and I'm definitely not willing to use a ring to turn a muster into an army muster. And in fact, I'm not very willing to give my opponent a ring, period, this turn. At least I think I'm not doing that. It's been a while, actually. Yeah, chat is in German because both Michel and I are from Germany. So I'm lamenting the fact that I have not rolled any movement against only one eye, like I just said. I pass as long as I can. He musters Isengard to war, so at least, a little sigh of relief that he didn't go for Woodland Realm. I think it makes perfect sense not to go for Woodland Realm right now. And just get the safe Saruman. You don't need to rush anything. But whenever you see Fellowship without any way to move armies to block anything, then that's always something I worry about. So yeah, I play Grimbjorn, cycling through my strategy deck. Faramir, nice draw. He plays many kings. So at least, if I give him a ring now, he'll have to give up one of his attacks to bring in Saruman. But I don't think that's worth it for me. Yeah, I muster the elves to war because I feel like, okay, better than just straight out giving him a minion turn 1. He does not have Saruman, Sauron at war, so I can must at least once before he can do anything to Woodland Realm. And yeah, I follow it up with getting one movement against two eyes, so much better than turn 1. And he again rolls only a single muster. So that's kinda good for me because now either he brings in Saruman or he gets Sauron to war. He can't do both. But again, I have not rolled any army master die, nor Will of the West, so this turn too, I have no real choice or option to move Carrick into Old Forest Road unless I use a ring or give up my only movement. So if he brings in Thorin to war, I'm gonna be very sad. Yeah, I start out with playing Faramir because, I mean, there is an army in North Athelion, so let's get that out of the way. And I do get 3 hits, which is nice. Yeah, and he does move Sauron to war, which is not great. Yeah, now I have to decide, do I use a ring here and give him Saruman or the Witch King to get these guys from Carrick to Old Forest Road and Eris to Westernet, so I have the option of defending Helm's Deep in future turns. And I don't know exactly now what I decided to do, but I think because I have scouts in hand, I'm very much inclined to do something about it. So I think I might be looking to use my character die, move Carrick to Old Forest Road, and then use the muster to get an extra muster into an extra lead into Woodland Realm. Let's see. Oh, I do use the ring. Okay. Yeah, that does make some sense. It's well played by my opponent to forgo the guaranteed Saruman and pressure me while my guard was down because I didn't have movement, and yeah, so either he gets a very easy Woodland Realm, though I guess with elves already being in war it wouldn't be that easy. So maybe it's not worth what I just did. But my thinking was he's gonna have to give up one of his attack dice to bring in a minion. And then there's gonna be a minion in play, so next turn hopefully I can get Gandalf the White. Whereas if he doesn't get a minion now, and next turn maybe I roll a will and I still can't get Gandalf, and then he can get 1 or 2 minions next turn. Yeah, I don't know. Would be interesting to see what you did. Like, if I did not have scouts, I don't think I would have done that. But with me having scouts, him sending a weakish army to the north, I feel like this might save me a full turn. And that would definitely be worth giving him a minion 1 turn earlier. Yeah, and he's using the ring to bring in the Witch King, makes sense. And he attacks Old Forest Road. Strategy card, I play scouts. And this is great. He used Deadly Strife because he really didn't want all these guys to retreat. So it does show that he is not very happy with my defense here. Yeah, and I do get an extra lead into Woodland Realm. I get my 1 move. I'm safe. Happy times. And on to turn 3. So yeah, he rolls a bunch of musters, still fairly low on ice, and I do get 2 movement and a will. And I have my first army muster die. So I have a couple of choices. I did draw into Wizard Staff, but that at this point is nothing I'm even considering playing because I really need Gandalf and I need him soon. And I also definitely need my 5th die because I'm under a lot of pressure already. Like, yeah, Woodland Realm doesn't look so bad, but Gondor looks pretty bleak. I don't know. It actually doesn't look that bad for now. But he did move a lot of armies around already, and I'm only on step 1. So I'm definitely feeling under a lot of pressure. Even if Woodland Realm might hold. So I'm gonna move first because he has a ton of musters. He might have Day Without Dawn in hand. We can see here that he does not have it in hand, but I didn't know that at the time. So my thinking was if I move twice now, then he needs to spend 2 dice to muster the Southrons to war. So on my third die, he will have them at war, but he would not have the time to play Day Without Dawn before I get the chance to then use my Will of the West. So yeah, there's nothing urgent I need to be doing. Like, Minas Tirith is defended, Osgiliath is beefed up through Faramir. So yeah, nothing I need to be doing before this this movement. I move, I'm safe. He does muster Southrons. I move again. I'm not safe. It's a 2, it's a perfect tile. I'm very happy about that. He brings in Saruman. And yeah, new powers rising, which I'm not happy to see. But yeah, I'm not thinking that he's gonna attack into Helm's Deep right now, but I decide better do it now, no reason to wait. Yeah, and here I say pass, but then I remember, oh no, I didn't bring in Gandalf yet. So I immediately say, no wait, I don't pass. I want to bring in Gandalf. Which I then do. Yeah, because he confused me. I was expecting him to bring in the Southrons first and not bring in Saruman first, and that threw me off. And I didn't really focus. So yeah. Oh, and he attacks. Oh, he attacks Dale, right? Yeah, he attacks Dale. Makes sense. He gets enough hits. I get 1 hit back. And yeah, he's preparing to move towards Rohan and the dwarves. And yeah, I continue with my blue movement rolls. Like, I can check the statistics. Yeah, I'm down 2 wills and 2 character dice. While his roll is perfectly average, the only thing he's plus on is character dice. He's +2 on character dice and -0 on everything else. And I'm down on wills and characters and up on musters and palantirs. So nothing, crazy, just a little low. But definitely painful this game. With him having low eyes as well. So yeah, what to do now? Yeah, it's just, I think it's very easy to defend against this because I see this army coming towards Rohan. I see the Southrons threatening Dol Amroth. Can't really defend Erebor. The only thing I can threaten is that once he takes Erebor, then I might get to retake Dale. Maybe annoy him that way. And I also see quite a lot of units over there who might at any time pressure Rivendell. And I do have Riders of Theoden, but playing Riders of Theoden and getting them into Helm's Deep is 3 dice just for that 1 extra lead. So that's not something that's super high on my agenda. So yeah, I'll just decide to see what he does. And he's not moving towards Rohan. He's instead... Well, actually, he might still be moving towards Rohan, but he's threatening Minas Tirith now. And so I need to react to that. Which I do. Yeah, he goes for Erebor, makes sense. I move once. I'm not safe, but it's not that bad. Yeah, dreadful spells, so now Dwarf's definitely gonna fall. And he gets 3 hits even through daylight, which is unfortunate. But at least I get 3 hits back, where he will press it down, I'm pretty sure, yeah. And that's the end of the dwarves. Yeah, I take Dale, I whiff. He's thinking about how to do this, and because he did not move to Wither Teeth, I decide to muster in Dale to preserve my Elven force pool, which is very limited. And my thinking here is to maybe threaten a retake on Erebor, or maybe go for a military victory attempt. It's not clear to me where that would be coming from. I mean, yeah, Dol Guldur is an obvious target. Then I need 2 more victory points, and by the time I get to Dol Guldur even, he's gonna have more victory points. Because if I vacate the Dew line, that's gonna be 5 easy victory points for him. 6 with Pelagier, and then he only needs 4, and I need 2, so that wasn't really appealing to me. And Fellowship is somewhat healthy, I guess. Oh yeah, and I say like ... I'm not very happy because now the turn he has 3 eyes, I get 4 movement. So yeah, it's kind of the reverse of what I want. I want low movement against many eyes and high movement against low eyes, and I got the exact opposite on basically every turn. Which, you know, I'm still happy I get movement. But corruption might be an issue here because I'm on step 4. I've taken 2 hits already, so 50% hit rate for him, even though I've moved super slow. And I'm gonna have to pick up the pace, meaning I'll be hit more often. So yeah, corruption is definitely not a safe thing for me this game, but speed is the more pressing concern. So yeah, let's see what he does. He musters up more for the Dew line, which makes sense given that I'm mustering here. I move, I'm not safe. I'll take a random here because I am very worried of getting up to 5 corruption before taking down any companions, because then any one might bring my corruption to 6 and above, because I don't want to random on a 1 for fear of hitting Strider. Yeah, so I take a random here. It's not Strider, that's good. It's Pippin though. I really wanted to see a level 2 companion, so that corruption wouldn't go so high. But at least I can buff up Rohan. Even though, yeah, I already used Right as a Fade-In as Daylight in Erebor, so that's kind of sad. I got my companion into Rohan, but still can't play Right as a Fade-In because it's gone already. Yeah, he reinforces Erebor. I move, I get hit again. So now, on step 6, I have been hit 4 times. I still go through Moria because I'm also running out of time. So this time I get a good companion. Yeah, he goes for Pelagier, and that's uncomfortable because now he can pressure both Woodland Realm and Dol Amroth with his next move. So I need to decide now: do I muster something in Lame Dawn and Woodland Realm, or do I muster an Elite into Dol Amroth, or do I say screw Dol Amroth, I'll just defend Woodland Realm? And I think the correct play here would be to muster an Elite into Dol Amroth now, and then he will do a double army move, moving Erebor to Wither Teeth, leaving 1 behind, and Pelagier to Lame Dawn, at which point I need to use a character die to move Dale into Woodland Realm, leaving 1 behind, and then he can, from Wither Teeth, attack Dale to stop me from mustering more, and then besiege Woodland Realm, Dol Amroth, before I get to muster the second Elite. But I decide I don't want him to be able, with a single die, to pressure both Woodland Realm and Dol Amroth, so I'll make him pick either one of those 2, but not both. And he goes for... right, and I did have another Scouts in hand. I missed that. So that's why I went for it this way, which makes perfect sense when I have scouts in hands. I play another blue tile. I'm not sure if that's correct, to be honest. I guess I should have hidden first in case he moves Erebor with the teeth, so I can then react and still hide the Fellowship this turn and move at the start of next turn before he gets a chance to put any Nazgul on me. Because, like I said, corruption is definitely an issue now. We have drawn 5 tiles on 6 steps, so that's definitely something. It's been all the high damage tiles, so the hunt pool now is looking a little less scary, but the ones are still bad because you don't want to take a random on one as long as Strider's still in the Fellowship, because that would be super inefficient. And even the eyes are probably also ones, so there's like 7 tiles where I'm like, yeah, now what do I do with that 1 corruption damage? You basically kind of want a 3 next, so I can get rid of Strider, so that the other tiles won't be as uncomfortable anymore. But that's also not really what you want to see. And yeah, he plays candles, he gets 2 hits, so now I'm on 7 corruption. Like, effective corruption is still okay. Like, I have 8 hit points left in the Fellowship, so I'm at effective -1, but I'm also 4 steps away from WotR. And the benchmark is you want to be at 2 corruption, effective 2 corruption or less to have a decent shot. But it also depends on how the hunt pool's looking. Like I said, the hunt pool's not so bad, because most of the high damage tiles have already been gone and dealt with, and I have 2 blue tiles in there already. But yeah, a small pool is also bad because that means higher chance of eyes and red tiles. So I draw Kidden, which is great. I roll only 1 movement, but against 3 eyes, so that's okay, especially considering that corruption is an issue. So yeah, I move the Fellowship. I'm safe. He searches. Not that bad because I have Strider as a guide. Yeah, and now it's a little tricky because he is obviously going for Dol Amroth next. And you have this choice between playing Kid and Ships now, get only 2 extra hit points because you're at 5 already. Adding 2 elites means you have to remove 2 regulars, going to 7 hit points in the stronghold, or to go the greedy way and say, he's not gonna get all 5 hits with a single die, and hope that he only gets 2 or 3 hits, and then you play Kid and Ships to add 4 more hit points to the stronghold on the siege. But I think, like I said, it's been a while, but I think I decided to play Kittens right away because I felt like with 10 HP, 5 leadership, and me not having any defensive combat cards, I don't want to risk him being able to take Dol Amroth off the bat, and that I want to play Kitten Ships now. Yeah, that's what I did, and I think that's the correct call, because with only 5 HP against 2 elites, that's very dangerous. Like, maybe if I had Shield Wall or Daylight, maybe you risk it then. But like, even if he gets 4 hits and not 5 by pressing down, then you're left with, even after playing Kitten Ships, with only 3 combat dice. So yeah, it's not very easy to hold while rolling only 3 dice. That's not enough to sortie out of Dol Amroth, unless I really whittle down his army by a lot. And if he has Corsairs, he can just reinforce it from Umbar. Yeah. So he attacks anyways, makes sense. Plays breaking, which is great for me, because I don't love to see breaking now. That's also bad because he basically removed Kid and Ships and didn't lose a single hit point. So we're in the exact same position we were before I played Kieran ships. But now I can't play that anymore. So next time he only gets 1 hit. I get 3 because of no quarters. I'm always a little hesitant to use How to Grade as a combat effect when all of the regions it would affect haven't been under siege yet. But I feel like the elves are at war. Elven force pool is still... Well, yeah, it's actually really low. Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe that was a mistake. But I felt like maybe this will make it so that I can hold Dol Amroth for a lot longer. Because these guys from Osgiliath could threaten a retake on Pelagier, stopping the resupply line unless he has Gossess. But yeah, it looks pretty bad though. 3 HP against 7 now. Don't think it was worth. And yeah, he presses it down and takes the Lamroth, even through Kidden ships. So maybe I should have greeded and taken that risk. I don't know. Yeah, he's preparing for Rohan next. Makes sense. I haven't mustered there at all. But I threaten a retake on Pelagia out of Osgiliath. The guys in Osgiliath don't really serve another purpose other than being a nuisance in Pelagia because the Ministerial army should be big enough. The reinforcements from Mordor are not that numerous. There's no free strongholds to take out of Osgiliath, so might as well try and muster up in Pelagia. But he, yeah, identifies that now Woodland Realm is gonna be uncomfortable for me. Oh, and I get I get another turn with 0 movement. And well, I said, I'm okay with low movement against many eyes. I mean, 3 aren't really that many. The expected value of him is 2.3. Also, eyes in the box, rolling 8 dice, allocating 1. And I definitely want at least 1 eye and 1 movement. So yeah, I'm now -4 on wills, -2 on character, so I'm a little lower than I was a couple of turns before. But at least he started rolling eyes, so it's not hopeless. And again, only single army muster. So I definitely need something in Woodland Realm. I think the debate is between mustering the final Elven Elite there, or using the only proactive die that I have to move Dale into Woodland Realm. And then probably Ettenmoors into Trollshaws to maybe protect Rivendell. I think that's the correct play. I don't think mustering the final elite makes sense. So yeah, I think, yeah, I do this. Yeah, that makes sense. He musters up in Umbor, makes sense, because he now wants to retake Pelagier as soon as possible, because my Gondorian force pool is still pretty high. I do have guards, so I want to keep 1 elite, and if I can, 1 leader left in the pool. Alright, yeah, and I also want to definitely muster lots of Nash to make it even more expensive to take Gondor. Yeah, he brings in red tiles, which I don't love to see, but I kinda also need him to invest into corrupting the fellowship, so his military will be slower. Because he will take Rohan for sure, then he's gonna be at 6 victory points. And now that I moved Dale into Woodland Realm, he can also take Dale. And then either Edoras or Pelagier and then he's at 8 victory points, and then he only needs one more stronghold for all cities. So that's not something I can bank on that would keep me alive for 3 more turns or something. So yeah, I need to try and push the pace and also make sure that the Pelagia army is strong enough that he can take Pelagia and maybe even threaten a retake on Dol Amroth, but I don't really see that happening. So he attacks Minas Tirith, gets 3 hits. I also get 3 hits, which is not great. Really want to get more hits while you still have maximum combat dice, but could be worse. He only has a single eat, he does not press here, and I have gods, which I can play now. So I might still hold him in Minas Tirith, but if he does take Minas Tirith, then I'm in serious trouble. Because that might be the only 2 victory points that he's gonna need after Helm's Deep. Yeah, and he goes for Rohan like I expected him to. And at least this time I get the movement that I need. And yeah, to take stock of the situation, corruption is an issue, right? I mean, I got 2 save movement over the last 2 turns, so it could have been worse, but I'm still at effective -1 with 2 steps still to go, maybe 3. And I'm definitely expected to be hit at least once more, and then maybe also draw a stronghold tile. And then yeah, it's getting to the point where it's kind of iffy. Plus, the other problem is that the corruption itself is pretty high, while Fellowship HP is also fairly high, and that's risky because it might allow him to put a lot of ice in the box that he would not otherwise be able to do if there were fewer companions in the Fellowship. So yeah, I might not be able to afford to move too fast, but I definitely need to get to Mordor this turn, and then hope that I have 2 turns in Mordor and be able to dunk into. So corruption's definitely going to be a strain, but at least I have 3 blue tiles in there, and I also have Mithril in hand and Bilbo's Song. I'm thinking, okay, corruption is probably fine. Plus, I don't really have a choice. I must move quickly because Minas Tirith will fall. Probably, unless I get very lucky, because he still has 7 HP over here that he can bring in there. And he also has the South runs that he might bring over. And with Minas Tirith, he's going to be at 6. With Helm's Deep, he's going to be at 8. And then he also only needs 2 more cities. Depending on how Helm's Deep goes, Edders might be fairly easy to take. And otherwise, he can certainly take Dale and force me to attack into Dale out of Woodland Realm. And then, if that does not go my way, then I'll just lose. And even if it goes my way, it's gonna cost more dice. But yeah, that might work. I mean, but his army is pretty big. 12 HP. I only have 9 here. Only 2 leadership. Well, he might have 5. So I'm not favored to win that. Plus, I only have a single lead that I can muster. So Dale is an issue, because if I protect Dale too much, then Woodland Realm becomes a target. I can't really help Helm's Deep. This is the point where I'm wishing, oh man, if only I had Riders of Theoden left, and maybe Helm's Deep will hold. But yeah, I'm just gonna have to hope that Minas Tirith holds, and I make Mordor this turn. The move, I'm not safe, and because corruption is fairly high and I have a lot of companions, like if I don't take randoms anymore, he could allocate 4 eyes once I'm in Mordor, and I would be at least 8 corruption, and any eye would cost me at least 1 extra corruption and kill off Strider. If he rolls 1 more eye after allocating 4, I would, at the very minimum, be at 10 corruption on step 1. And that was not a risk that I was willing to take. So I take a random 25% chance to hit Strider, but if it doesn't hit Strider, then not that bad. But it does hit Strider. So yeah, maybe I shouldn't have taken the random here, but like I said before, the hunt pool was very likely to hit me with 1 corruption. Also on the next step, right? I mean, there's still 6 tiles in there that will probably do only 1 corruption. 6 out of 10. What do I do then? Do I go up to 9 corruption and allow him to sign a bunch of eyes and just corrupt me? I mean, maybe that would have been okay, considering that I have a couple of blue tiles in there. It might have been worth a gamble. I don't know. I risked the random, got Strider. At least I still have enough movement to make it this turn. Oh, right, and yeah, and also he has more wounds. If I hadn't taken the random, I would have been at 9 corruption already. I really needed to run into blue tiles and heal. So he takes Besieges Helm's Deep, makes sense. I move again. I'm safe, just good. And he goes for Helm's Deep. That's a little risky. That's 12 HP against 6. And I have a companion. And I might have end cards. And I can play a card even now because there's a companion in the battle. So even though he played Fighting Urkai, it says cannot use a combat card unless a companion is in battle, which there is. And he's low on leadership. So maybe that goes my way. So I play the strongest card first, because I think I've already seen 1 swarm of bats, so the odds of him having another's very low. And I want to get my hits early to make it much more difficult for him to get the 6 hits. But he rolled amazingly well. Getting 4 hits. And I only roll a single hit. Plus nameless. Yeah, I thought. I don't know why I say 4. Yeah, I thought I played Ends Rage and then realized no wait, that's the other one. So I get more rerolls. So I still get my 4 hits. Yeah, that's how it's come about. So now this is definitely not looking good after he got 4 hits. Now I'm left with only 2 HP. Yeah, and he just kills me. Even through heroic death, which wouldn't have been enough to save me anyways. So he musters up more in Umbar. I tried to protect both Edders and Pelagia, but at this point it's basically given that Edders is gonna fall. And so here, yeah, question is, do you use a ring, move again, or do you risk Cruel Weather? And I think the obvious answer to that is you risk Cruel Weather, even though he has drawn quite a lot of character cards. So the chance of him having Cruel Weather at this point is almost 50%, but I just can't afford that risk. I am not revealed into Moronon, so if I move now and I do get revealed, which is fairly likely, I mean, more than half the pool would reveal me. Like the absolute worst case would be an eye for 1 or a turn reveal into a 3. That would basically eliminate all my companions, put me at 8 corruption before I even start the Mordor track. So that would be an absolute nightmare. So I'd rather take the chance and hope he doesn't have Cruel Weather. Also, it would use my final ring, and going into Mordor without any rings left, needing to dunk basically in 2 turns, probably. That's also not great. And I have a good use for the Army Master because I definitely want to defend Pelagia and Eris as well as I can. So that's what I try to do. And he does have cruel weather. But I still think it was correct to not play around cruel weather because I don't think I was in a position to afford playing around it. Like I said, corruption's super high already, right? I'm at effective 3 corruption. Before taking another hit, which I would almost certainly have received with 3 eyes against Force. And then if he didn't have Cruel Weather, but some other card that might punish me for being revealed or something, or even Seal's Bane, Foul Thing, or Control, then it would have been even worse if I had moved again. So yeah, that sucks. And all the nations are at war, so he could bring Mouth of Sauron now. So that's, yeah, just all around terrible. At least I'm safe here. Okay, so he's risking Minister Earth again, running into confusion again, I think. So that's kind of risky. 3 hits for him, but I don't roll so well yet. But I get 6 hits back. Upblast, confusion. And so this gives me a chance to kill the Witch King. I have Sudden Strike in hand and a no quarter. So yeah, I think the obvious choice is to now try and kill the Witch King, because if it succeeds, then not only is the Witch King and 3 Nazgul gone, you also kinda save Minas Tirith, because I still have elites left that I can muster into Minas Tirith. So and the odds of me being able to kill him pretty good when I play Sudden Strike or No Quarters. I think No Quarters would also be a good choice. But I try the Sudden Strike, get 1 hit. Now I need 1 more hit with a 6 die. I get it. So Witch King dies, which is great. And it now gives me a fighting chance. But he can bring in Mouth of Sauron, which at this point is probably even better than the Witch King. But I get to muster up in Minas Tirith at least. So he tries to take Pelagia. He only gets 1 hit. I get 3. Just pretty good. Yeah, and I make sure that Minas Tirith is pretty beefed. But he will get Edoras. But he does need 1 more stronghold, right? And now Minas Tirith does not seem like a place you really want to go to. So I think the situation now is pretty interesting. I'm at effective 3 corruption, but I do have Mithril and Bilbo's Song and 3 blue tiles and only 2 red tiles. So corruption is not looking great, but it's looking like it might be doable. Military, I mean, he's at 7 victory points when I get to Mordor. That's not super good, but it's also not obvious where his remaining 3 victory points are going to come from. I mean, Edders, yes, that's obvious. He might lose Pelagia, though, if he completely abandons Gondor now and goes elsewhere. And he does not have any troops around Rivendell or Lorien. So, yeah. I think I have a shot. He's deciding between allocating more than 1 eye and just leaving it at 1. He leaves it at 1, which I think makes sense. I move first because before playing Mithril, because I think, yeah, I have 3 movement dice against only 2 eyes. I don't want to give him a chance to play a third red tile before I moved. And I'm waiting to play Mithril when I roll a Palantir die. I think that was kind of my reasoning, which still makes sense to me. I run into Naya first, that's not great, but that's okay. He does have day now, which sucks. So now he attacks Dale, yeah. Which makes it look like he's going for the 4 cities. Yeah, definitely going for the 4 cities now. But he can't get it this turn, but my chance to win next turn are also not very high. So with him going for the 4 cities, it gives me some options though, because it means I only need to be able to take back one of the cities to stop his military victory. And that feels reasonably likely. But oh yeah, then I get this roll. And that now suddenly is a big problem. Because I'm down to only 1 ring, I want to definitely move once this turn, and then I'm gonna have to use my other ring to retake a city. Because if I don't move this turn, then I'm gonna have to move 4 times next turn, and I'm gonna take 1 corruption damage, and corruption is already a big issue, so that's definitely not an option. So yeah, I'm basically committed to move once. Hopefully also be able to play Mithril and use a ring to retake one of the cities to see turn 12. And yeah, I mean, Day Without Dawn is gone at least, so I can play Mithril and get rid of Saruman. So that if I survive this turn, I have some chances. Yeah, I'm not sure why I must on Erdluin and in the Shire. Because this suggests that he has shadows moving. Shadow lengthens. So he's gonna have a really big army in the Shire. And retaking Dale seems like a much better choice. Alright, and yeah, then he does this move, and I'm thinking, oh, he's trying to go for the Grey Havens for the final 2 victory points. And with this big of an army, I mean, that's 12 HP against only 3 right now. So yeah, I must in a lead. He takes Edoras. Shadow lengthens. I move the Fellowship because, like I said, I want to move at least once. Another reveal though, which is not cool. And so yeah, he's at 9 victory points now. And the problem is he's 100% be able to take the Shire. And he's at 9 victory points, so I cannot let him have the Shire. The problem is if I give him my final ring, I need 4 straight movement at the very least to be able to dunk next turn, which is very unlikely. And even with 4 movement, I mean, eyes and reveals would still stop me, and corruption might still kill me. But at least I would have a shot, right? 4 movement and a Palantir to play Bilbo's Song with Michel. Possible. Unlikely, but possible. But then, if I fail to do that, which, like I already mentioned, it's unlikely to succeed, Then he can just besiege the Grey Havens now before I get a chance to get the two dwarfs from Erdluin into the Grey Havens, and then he has 12 HP against 5. And I do have help and looked for. I mean, what can two regulars do against this big of an army? So whatever I do, it's not really great, and I might not even succeed in taking Dale. I mean, that's 7 HP. I have 9 HP, and I have 11, and I'm attacking into fortification. So yeah, it's by no means guaranteed to work out. But what else can I do? I have to make this attack. Oh right, I have Power of Bombadil. I've totally forgotten that. I have Power of Bombadil, right. So that's what I did. Is that better than making a risky attack on Dale? I would think so, yeah. Does it solve my Grey Havens issue? No. And that's exactly what he's going for. And I think that's a very good move on his part. I do not get my 4 movement that I would have needed to have a shot at dunking. And so at this point, I think it's pretty hopeless because I would need to retake 2 cities. And at the very least, hide the Fellowship to have any hopes survive this turn, or hope for a miracle in the Grey Havens, but my confusions are gone already. So it's unlikely. I mean, yeah, you could maybe hope to defeat Dale out of Woodland Realm, move Minas Tirith into Skilliath, and then from a Skilliath attack Pelagia. But then you also can't really empty Minas Tirith, otherwise he can just move into Minas Tirith out of Rohan, or even out of Mordor. And the Shire might still be an issue if Greyhaven goes particularly well for him. And it would rob me of all 3 of my dice, right? I need the army muster to move Minas Tirith to Osgiliath, and then 2 character dice to attack Dale out of Woodland Realm, and a Pelagia out of Osgiliath. And neither bell is super easy to win, and I would have to win both of them. And that would mean I would not get to hide the Fellowship, taking extra corruption, and still facing the very same problem next turn of needing, at the very least, 4 movement to have any hopes whatsoever. So yeah, this is looking real bad. I hide the Fellowship now because I think, okay, I need a miracle in Grey Havens, because if I don't even hide here, well, then next turn it's not looking any better. Quite the opposite, actually, because I would have depleted my armies, showing many more weaknesses. Yeah. Hoping for a miracle roll next turn. So yeah, I'm hoping Grey Havens goes well. And it does not go well. Like, he gets 3 hits, I have nothing. Well, actually, that's 1 hit because of Valor and Desperate Battle. So 1 hit, but he got 3. And he doesn't have to press at all because he has so many attacks, and there's nothing I can really do to stop it. I could maybe play Help and Looked For, but I only have 2 regulars here against a very giant army, still rolling 6 dice to my 2. That's almost certainly not gonna save me. So we all with fear. I threaten a retake on Dale. Why did I do that? Yeah, I think I somehow thought that. I don't know what I thought. I think I thought, like from the logic of last turn, that I only need to take back one city to be in a good position. Yeah, I think I kind of lost it there, and got confused. But it didn't really matter because I don't think at this point that it was very savable. So yeah, he besieges Woodland Realm now, which is what I wanted because I still have Hop and Looked for. Um, and the battle goes my way. But of course, Grey Haven's still the more pressing concern. And now I'm down to only single HP. I draw a card, but there's really nothing that can save me anymore. Kid and Ships, even if I drew it, would not do anything because I don't have an elf left in the force pool. So yeah. And yeah, usually I would try and move a Fellowship here, so that at the stats sheet it would show me at step 3 hopefully. But it's a tournament game, so whatever odds I have, I try to squeeze everything out of it. And it's technically possible for this Osgiliath army, which has a leader, to defeat this, very gruesome looking Pelagia army. It's technically possible, so let's give it a try. Yeah, he gets 3 straight hits though to my 1, so well, it's still possible. And I do get 1 hit. He replies with 4 hits. So yeah, that's game. We do some post-match discussion. Yeah, I don't think it really matters at this point. We can have a look at the statistics. Let's hope I'll do that right. Yeah, this looks good. What do the stats say? They say, yeah, kind of the whole sentiment of the game still rings true. Even though I recovered some of the wills that I lost early on in the game when I was -4 on wills. Now I'm only -2. But while I started out -2 on characters, I'm now -5 on characters. I mean, it's turn 12, and I did not really have a shot at even trying to dunk the ring, which is definitely unfortunate. Because it wasn't even the red tiles that stopped me, it was just plain not rolling enough movement and cruel weather. Like, the game would have been totally different, I think, if he did not have cruel weather at the time, which he did have cruel weather. That would maybe have bought me the 1 turn more than I needed. So that maybe this turn I could have dunked. Maybe. But yeah, it didn't happen. I'm very high on Masters and Palantirs, which, yeah, wasn't completely wasted, but also didn't really help too much. And yeah, I think, yeah, the combat rolls are flipped. So there's no way I rolled twice as many combat dice as he did. So this is Shadow, +4 on 6s, +4 on 5s. Certainly lucky. So the Fellowship, all the free pupils also can't complain. I mean, being +4 on hits is also pretty good. But yeah, definitely more important for the Shadow to get the hits. Like when you think on the Minas Tirith siege, we both rolled 3 hits. That's, trading 1 for 1 is definitely much better for the Shadow than it is for the free people. Even though Minas Tirith ultimately did not work out for him. But all the other places basically worked out perfectly for him. Like Erebor worked great, and so did Dol Amroth. Yeah. So yeah, that was round 3, game 1. Me as 3 people against Michel. Game ended on turn 12. And I think both of us played pretty well. Like looking back at this game, there's nothing where I would say I went totally wrong. I mean, in hindsight, yeah, maybe I should have risked moving with a ring anyways to prevent cruel weather, but I don't think at that point you could make that call. I really don't think you could. And I did get my 2 turns in Mordor regardless. I just wasn't able to dunk in 2 turns because I didn't roll the movement. And yeah, he made a good show of exploiting my weaknesses, going for Rivendell, going for Grey Havens in the Shire like that, when I couldn't really defend it because my force pool was too low. So yeah, it was well played on his part. And so now I'm on 3 wins and 2 losses. I really want to win the next game, our rematch, where I will be playing Shadow. If I win that, then I'm gonna be at 4 and 2, and possibly only needing a draw in my final set to go to 5-3 with good tiebreakers and having a good shot of making the top card. So let's find out in the next video if I manage to do that. So thanks for watching. If you have any comments, please let me know. And otherwise, have a great day. Bye bye.